There we go. Ni hao. Wujao Stephanie. Hey guys, I have gotten some really interesting feedback lately, so I want to make some videos about them. And this one specifically is about vision challenges with the learning the Chinese language. And that will make more sense as time goes on. But if you have absolutely no need or desire to learn how to navigate learning Chinese when you have some issues with your eyes where it's hard to see the characters, then feel free to pass on by. There's plenty of other videos to take a listen to. So let's get started. All right, so I have hinted at having a number of different lovely medical issues, and one of the things that I have is this thing that it sounds a lot worse than it is, and that part of that could be because I've had it for a while, but it's called MAP-DOT dystrophy, MAP-DOT. It's got a few different names, and basically what happens is it's a corneal issue, and thank goodness it is, because apparently it's a very surface issue with the cornea. And basically it comes in one of two forms. One is either, and the cornea is the front of your eye, the retina is the back of your eye. Apparently the more serious stuff happens in the back. So it's actually really good that it's only in the cornea, right? So anyway, so one of two things can happen, and usually when it manifests itself, how do I say this? It can manifest itself in one of two ways. One is when the front of the cornea, well, the cornea is the front, when the corneal cells disintegrate, they kind of implode, erode's a good word to use there. They erode and it makes your vision blurry. The other thing that can happen is that cells can accumulate, excess cells can accumulate on the cornea. Yeah, this does sound so much worse than it feels. Anyway, excess cells do accumulate. And again, it makes your vision fuzzy. The reason why I know that I have this is sort of a long story, but I'll make it as short as I can because I want to get to the character part because that is the main focus of this video. But just so you understand the eye issues that I'm dealing with. I woke up one day and it felt like I had a gray spot in the middle of my right eye and a little bit in my left eye. It literally, like if you look at whatever you can see, part of it was covered by a gray thing that was somewhat translucent. Like I could see through the thing that was obstructing my view, but it was like a gray thing and I could kind of see the outline of the gray thing, and the vision outside of the gray things, both eyes, but bigger in the right eye, was perfectly fine. And you know what? I was living in Nanjing, China at the time, and my insurance was only for local medicine, and there are many really good things about China, but the medical industry right now, for normal income folks, not for super rich folks, is very iffy. It's very, very hit and miss. And at the time in Nanjing, all those years ago, when was this? 2008, 2009, 2010? 2010, I think. At that time, the local hospitals were absolutely swamped. And it took a very long time. I actually was never diagnosed there. They gave me all kinds of steroids, which actually made things worse because it turned out that I had, the first way that it manifested when it came out then was that I had the excess cells in my eyes. And the steroids actually inflamed the excess cells, so it actually got worse, and I developed all kinds of headaches. I was walking around at home with giant ice bags on my head because my headaches had gotten so bad. Fast forward to a few months later, my husband had been saying the whole time, let's go to Shanghai, let's go to Shanghai. It was the closest big city, and supposedly the medical care was better, and I magically ended up at this frou-frou expat clinic kind of thing that cost way more money, but we had expat insurance at the time that no longer covers these kinds of things. Anyway, but we found a German eye doctor, an eye specialist, who was able to diagnose me like that. And although she didn't know of a way to fix it, she gave me this night gel which just in using that cleared up so much of the problems. What happens when you have either version of this disorder is that the friction of your eyes, especially at night, makes it worse. So having extra lubricant in my eyes at night actually makes it really, really good for me to see. And if you've ever seen my morning videos when I'm all funky, my eyes are actually poofy because even with the night gel, there is still friction and I can't see that great, like the first 30-40 minutes when I wake up, depending on the day. It varies. There are different things that trigger it to make it worse, to make it better. But it's been years and years and years. I want to say it's been about 8 years. And I actually at one point had surgery and we scraped off, meaning another doctor back in the US, scraped off the cells, which again sounds more painful than it was. And but eventually after a few years, like I had amazing vision for a couple of years and then they started to grow back. And right now, I mean, I know I've seen a few doctors, they have started to come back, but I don't have that gray patch that I used to have. And to be quite honest with you, it's a little dangerous, even though it's an easy procedure to get the cells scraped off. The things that can happen after the surgery, the infections and things that can happen are real. And I don't really feel like going through that unless I start losing my vision again. And right now, reading glasses for times when I'm fuzzy work really, really well. So that's one of the things. So my vision comes and goes. So when I'm studying, and it doesn't come and go like it's black or it's clear. It comes and goes like my fuzziness factor of how text in any language, in any text, can be clearer or fuzzier depending on how lubricated and how good or bad the dystrophy is that day. Dystrophy is just disorder. Yeah. So I've developed a few things that I use to help me when I'm learning the characters because I'm stubborn and I don't want to stop learning just because my eyes are poofy or my eyes are itchy or I don't have really great vision that day. One of which is reading glasses. I actually still ironically have 20/20 vision. I had LASIK eye surgery in the early aughts and it's still there. Still there. I'm approaching the time period when, age-wise, when I will need bifocals, but not yet. It's coming. But so I have different ones. I have reading glasses that are 1.0. I have reading glasses that are 2.0. And actually, were these only one? For some reason, I thought these were the stronger ones. Anyway, I think I have 1.5, and 2.0, and I don't generally use the 2.0. That's just the magnitude of the reading glasses. So depending on where how good my vision is that day, I'll use different ones. Yeah, so if you see me wearing different glasses, some of it's for fashion, and some of it is seriously because of necessity on how good or bad that my eyes are. So if your vision is okay, but you're finding the reading of the characters is a little hard, try some reading glasses. These are super fancy ones I got from my eye doctor, obstetrician. Wow, I don't remember how to say eye doctor in English. But these I actually paid $25 for because they're super sturdy, amazing, and they bend in all kinds of ways where I can't break them. Because I wanted to have at least 1 or 2 sets of really intense ones, and then I bought a whole bunch of crazy color ones in London a few months ago, and I just bought some here in Thailand a few days ago too. Yeah, so if your vision's okay but you're having a hard time reading the Hanzi characters, try these. If your vision problems aren't that bad, but the size issue of the Hanzi characters is an issue, then I strongly recommend just grabbing some reading glasses. I don't think I've ever been to a country that doesn't have reading glasses. Generally speaking, they're either in like stores that sell regular prescription glasses. Sometimes they're in the sunglass area. I've seen them in department stores when they have them right next to the sunglass area. I've also seen them in pharmacies in Japan and the US and in China. I've seen a lot of reading glasses in pharmacies. They're going to vary in comfort level physically and in the quality of the eyeglasses. So I would try different kinds. and see what works for you. Another thing that really, really works well for me that I use on my cell phone, because I'm in China, so I actually get text messages in Chinese, and sometimes I have to actually pay attention to them. A lot of the text messages I get are actually spam, but sometimes I can't even tell that because they'll have like my name on them and I'll think, oh, this is really serious. No, for some reason spam has gotten super sophisticated. So I actually, they're really, really maybe 4 font. And so what I just do is I take a screenshot. I don't know if you know how to take a screenshot on your phone, but I strongly advise taking a screenshot and then you can pinch it. And you can pinch it to a really, really big degree. Let me show you how to do that. Hold on. Okay, hopefully this will work. So I don't know if you guys can see that. Oops. That's the text message that I got. I don't think there's anything terribly important there. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, on my phone, it's just right here, capture screen. So I capture screen, it literally takes a picture just like it does on a computer, and then you click on it, or mine saves into my photos, so if I don't click on it quick enough, I can go into my photos. And now this is the actual text message in a picture, and I can make it as big or as small as I want just by moving it around like that. And then this one is not actually, I don't think that's the screenshot yet. Oh, I just got a message. Hold on. let me get rid of that. That's not the point. Here we go. So here it is in photo form. So I can just expand it out and move it around as much as I want. Can I copy as well? It's not letting me copy, so that part's not great. Not great. But for pinching, like look how big you can get the characters, right? And moving around. So that is one of my favorite things to do. And I don't just do that with text messages. I also do that with when I'm looking stuff online and I see a character or a word that I want to know, I will screenshot it. I will screenshot pictures of characters. I will screenshot literally anything that's too tiny because the characters get super tiny, especially the ones with like 10, 12, 13 different strokes in it. They're super tiny. And I'm dealing with simplified Mandarin Chinese. I can't even fathom learning, traditional, or not traditional, traditional. Because I did try to do that and I failed miserably when I lived in Taiwan because the strokes, there's so many strokes in those and they're so complicated. So this is one of the biggest things that I do is that. Another thing that I like to do, I still use Google Translate quite a bit. So let me go into a different one here. Let me get a message that is not important. Okay, I think this one is a delivery one. So I'm just gonna hold it down. I'm gonna copy text. Do you see where it says copy text there? I'm gonna copy the text and I'm gonna shove it into Google Translate. So it's gonna do 2 things at once here. And make sure that you put, no, not Thai. You can tell I'm in Thailand right now. Wait, no, don't, it's not Thai. Stop. I like talking to my electronics. Okay, we're gonna put it back in Chinese. We're gonna copy it in there. Okay, and it does, I think it looks bigger in there. So even if you don't need the translation like this, you can still see the text is bigger. And you can still copy different parts of it just like you can in the text. So you can still copy little bits. And you can delete certain bits, so you can only translate certain bits, or you can see certain bits. A lot of times I'll delete the text, the part of it I know I don't need, and I'll just look at the part I need, and then I'll try to figure out what it means, and then I'll probably look at the translation, because I like to try to figure it out first. Again, depending on how urgent the issue is. If it's my, this is something's been delivered to my apartment, I don't need to know that. But if they're delivering my food and I need to go open the door, then that I will just skip to the meaning of the message. So copying the information either with a photo, with a screenshot, or copying it and putting it somewhere where it's bigger, especially if you can pinch it. And what's the opposite of pinch? Pinch is this, expand and pinch. There we go. If you can do that, that really, 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 really helps. Honestly, let me, I have also in my, let me just find it. Okay, so this is my, I am an adult, I swear. This is my pass case for my, my Metro Pass. There's nothing I'm giving away by showing you this. This is the Shanghai Metro Pass. And so I keep different cards in here. I don't even know what this is. Oh, that's my gym pass. Okay, so I have different passes in here, and this I strap onto my bag so I can just reach in and grab it without any thought whatsoever. Okay, ignore this. This is my SIM card, so I don't forget it. My SIM card, my Chinese SIM card, because right now I'm using my Thai SIM card. I am that traveler that gets a SIM card in every country I go to. Yes, I do. Because they're so easy nowadays. Anyway, this thing, hello! This is a portable magnifying glass. I seriously got this, I think I got this one in Iowa before we left the US. But I've seen these in a few different places, and it just fits, it would fit in your wallet, but in this case, I wanted it to be super handy, so I put it in my pass case. But it magnifies depending on how close or how far you are from the thing. This don't make any sense. Can you see that? Should I put text to that? Right. Okay, and it's super handy. I have literally gone up to like maps in the subway and used this to see the small Hanzi characters, because there are some metro stations that do not have the pinyin in Shanghai. Not many, but there are some. And so I've used this to do it. I've also used the screenshot thing as well to pinch and whatever. But then I lose my place on the map itself. And so I find that using a portable magnifying glass is really good. I also have a big clunky magnifying glass, but I'm not at home now, so I can't actually show you that. But honestly, I've been using the screenshot and pinch thing so much that I haven't used my big magnifying glass in a while. So that's that. I have also seen the version of what I just showed you in like A4 size, and for North Americans that's going to be 8.5 by 11 size, where you can literally put it over a piece of paper. So there are some magnification things that exist that aren't just glasses. And so where you're going to find these depends on where you live. I have noticed that some stationery stores have them. I've noticed that some hardware stores have some of them too, oddly enough. But if you go to big stationery stores, I've tend to find quite a bit of magnification stuff. People that study a lot tend to have worse eyesight and need to have more help so they can keep studying. So they need all of these things. But that's good for the rest of us that are studying. Sorry, there's an airport nearby, and it's like this all night. I do not remember Chiang Mai being this noisy. Oh yes, I just did a I remember one moment. Anyway, point being, there are a few different ways that you can deal with how stinking small the characters are written. What I also find really, really useful, when I go and fill out documents in Chinese, thank goodness I don't have to do it often, but for visa paperwork and medical paperwork and different things, they might have it just, even if they have the pinyin or the English, I tend to use this quite a bit. Taking pictures of government documents gets raised eyebrows. So I tend to use this. Again, this is just my SIM card, so it actually looks like this. Sorry, I should have done that before. Oh, that's interesting. Hello. Anyway, I tend to use this more than I do taking pictures and making them larger. Because again, when you're in a government office, you just want to call as little attention to yourself as possible. Also, depending on where I am, if my phone battery's dead, I tend to use the magnifying glass more. Trying to think of other things. Oh, what I did for my, I guess that's two things so far, is the reading glasses, the magnifying glass, 3 things. And the third thing was the screenshot, pinch and zoom. Pinch and zoom, that's it. The fourth thing then is going to be font size before you print out your documents. I drag my transcripts for the listening over into Google Drive, into Google Docs actually, excuse me, and then I put them up to, I'm playing with the font size. Size 14 is too small 16 is too small. I can read it, but I can't see the intricacies of the Hanzi characters as much as I want. Right now I'm playing with size 18. And I'll show you, I've shown you what that looks like in like a million other videos actually, so I'll leave it at that. And I could still go bigger, I think, because these are all new words again, so I really, really need to see the nuances of them. And even with glasses and the enlarged text, it's still helpful if they're bigger than that, and if they're spacing. So what I did in HSK1 that I need to do again is I think I did 20 font, so I think I have to go back to that. So I'll put 20 font, like one line, white space, 20 font, 20 font, line, and another space. Now in HSK3, the conversations are getting longer, so printing these out is starting to be a pain in the butt to carry around, so I may have to switch just to my tablet soon, just so I can have those white spaces, because the combination of a bigger font so I can see the text and having the Hanzi characters far away from each other, the combination of those two things really, really helps me be able to see them clearly and to see the differences in them and to see the nuances and how many strokes and what shapes are the strokes and those kinds of things. So literally changing the font size before you print out anything that you're working with. Now, what if you have to use a specific course book? Photocopy. I know photocopies can get expensive, but we're talking about the difference between keeping studying or admitting defeat and stopping. And stopping's just crap, so don't do that. So what you need to do is turn your book sideways, try double size. Just do half a page and do that as one page. And just keep doing that for as many pages as you need. Now you might not need all of the pages in that chapter like that. You might just need the beginning, because if you do the first few pages, then you'll get used to the Hanzi characters in that chapter. And then by the time you get to the exercises in the back of the chapter, you'll probably be able to recognize them in smaller form. I don't know. Experiment with it. But definitely play with the font size, because that is going to be your friend. I would almost suggest this even for people who don't have eye issues, but if you definitely have eye issues and that's the thing that's holding you back, figure out, like, make friends with your local photocopy person, make friends with your friends that work in offices so they can print stuff out for you, buy a printer. When I was in grad school, I wasn't studying Chinese, but I had a printer. And for my 20 to 22 page academic articles, I resigned myself that I had to print a lot of them because the screen time was affecting my vision. It was making my dystrophy worse, and so I had to go back to paper for a lot of things, because there were certain things I had to do online and there were certain things I didn't have to do online, but I was doing all of it online and it was affecting my daily visibility. So I had to buy a printer, buy lots of stinking paper and a lot of ink, and I just had to carry around the articles and I had to print them out. I didn't print them out in big font because I didn't have to read every word. It's grad school. Skimming is the norm with these kinds of writings, but I did have to print them out in order to save my eyes for the things I needed to do online. So in the end, if you have to print out a lot of stuff in order to keep going, invest in a printer. Find out how to refill your ink cartridges instead of buying new ones, because that saves you some money. A lot of places, at least in the US, a lot of places do that now. Instead of buying new cartridges, they'll just refill the ink, and that way you don't have to buy the whole structure again. It's also better for the environment, but it's also a lot cheaper for you if you have to print out a lot of stuff. What else? I think those are the main things. Those are the main things that I do. So, yes, thank you for the questions. If there's anything that I say in any of the videos and you want more information on them, by all means let me know, because I'll just keep rambling. I'll just keep rambling until everything that's in my head comes out. So if there's anything if I've planted a seed at all and anything you want to know more on, please ask me. So that's that. So I hope these tips help anybody that may have eye issues, that may have stopped you from learning to read Chinese before this. I hope these help you to keep going. Let me know if you use any of these and if they work well for you, or if you find any new ones. I'm always open to new tips because I'll rotate between different things that I told you today, depending on how my eyes are that day, depending on what else I'm doing on and offline, that kind of thing. So knowing different ways to work around these kinds of things is always really, really useful. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and more soon. Talk to you.